Guys, welcome to the channel and welcome back to another video. On this video, I want to talk about big technology companies and what the Federal Reserve is doing in terms of rate hikes that is having a tremendous effect on these large technology companies. Now, these large technology companies are doing some big layoffs. Tech jobs are being lost, and I want to have a quick conversation about it with you guys to kind of explain what's going on in technology in terms of why we're seeing so many layoffs. If you get anything out of this video, do me a favor, smash the like button and drop me a comment below. What are your thoughts on job loss and the technology industry? So let's jump right into it, guys. Layoffs have begun. Now, they haven't begun widespread for everybody, but they've begun in the tech industry. And what happens in the tech industry is important. I'm going to explain that to you guys later. But what are we seeing right now with these big tech companies? First of all, we're seeing that the share prices of big companies like Facebook and Amazon, those companies have shares that are down 20% so far. They just had their quarterly earnings reported, and we've seen that these companies are taking some major hits. A lot of these companies are feeling the pinch. They're having a lot of slowdown in terms of their revenue. At least they're reporting revenues are down. And why are revenues down? That's the kicker. That's where the Federal Reserve and these interest rate hikes come in. A lot of these tech companies are saying flat out, the demand for digital ads is down. The demand for cloud software is down. Now, why are these demands dropping for these tech companies? Because we know technology is going to be here, right? Technology is not going anywhere. But why are the demands such that these technology companies are having to make these large layoffs? And when I speak about technology companies making large layoffs, let me just say this. Companies like Lyft and Redfin have laid off 13% of their workforce. A company like Snap, which owns Snapchat, has laid 1,000 workers off. The online payment company called Stripe, they laid off about 14% of their workforce last week. And then you have Twitter, who last week announced that we got 7,500 employees, about 7,500 employees across the world. We're going to lay off 50% of them is what Elon Musk said, right? We got to lay off 50% to be ready for what's potentially coming and to increase our revenue streams. That's what Twitter said. Facebook's parent company, Meta, has announced that they're laying off 11,000 employees. Netflix has laid off employees. Ring Central, Salesforce, Better.com, OpenDoor.com, Zillow, all of these companies that thrive on technology are laying workers off. Not to mention Amazon, who came out today and said, we've got to lay off 10,000 workers. Now, 10,000 workers for Amazon is only about 1% of their total workforce, but it's still significant. That's 10,000 people, human beings that no longer have a job. And when we say human beings, we're talking about engineers, sales reps, staff folks, data analysts, whatever the job title is, these are actual human beings. All of these companies are laying off workers. And ultimately, that means that when we see that next jobs report in about 3 weeks or so from the Department of Labor, these people are going to be added to that unemployment rate. And the unemployment rate at the last jobs report was 3.7%, still super duper low. But guess what? These tech companies that are laying folks off, those people are going right into the unemployment ranks, and they're going to be counted on the next jobs report for unemployment. And that means the unemployment rate probably won't be 3.7%. Unemployment will probably go up a little bit next month. And then the following month, it'll probably go up a little bit more. So that's coming for the rest of us. So let me go back to some of the reasons of what's happening with these big tech companies. Not only do we see the demand for digital ads going down, some of the cloud software services being in less demand, but we also have to look back at some of the overhiring that probably took place during the pandemic when everybody was not going into work and staying at home and focused on their computers all day, every day, and not really interacting with other people, not getting out to sporting events and all that good stuff, not having conferences and workshops face to face. So these tech companies were doing a lot of hiring back then to manage the influx of people that were staying at home during the pandemic and using computers all day, every day to communicate and do everything. Those days have sort of slowed down as everyone gets back into doing things in person, going to the conference, face to face. E-commerce has slowed as people have gone back into work. All those things have sort of shifted and change the demand some of these big tech companies are seeing. Now, these big tech companies are also pointing to some uncertain economic times, right? The forecast for the future looks sort of bleak in a lot of ways, and they want to prepare for that. And then, of course, we have the Federal Reserve's increase in rates. Now, these increase in rates have had an effect on demand in a lot of ways. Money's more expensive to borrow, and we've seen venture capitalists who usually do a lot of investing in these large tech firms slow down their investing, tighten their belts a little bit, and these venture capitalists are being a little more stingy about their investments in these tech companies. All those things have played a role because the Federal Reserve has continued to increase rates. And it's made not only venture capitalist firms, but also these big tech companies focus more on profitability as opposed to growth, right? Growth is not happening at the same rate it was happening 2 years ago. So now everybody is tightening their belt. And when a company tightens its belt, one of the first things that has to go, because these tech companies want to stay in business, one of the first things they have to cut, one of the biggest expenses, is labor. And that's what they're doing right now. They're tightening their belt because of what they see, that what may be coming up, plus the slow in demand. You know what? We have to kind of pivot our focus, and we have to lay off some workers so we can stay profitable and in business. Now, one thing that I want to point out is this. What do we know about these big tech companies, right? The reason these big tech companies really stay viable is because they are in the business of predicting the future. They're in the business of looking long term, looking out there and saying, what is coming out there? It's how they stay in business. They're innovators. They're creators. They flex and shift before everybody else flexes and shifts. And so if these big companies, these big tech companies are seeing these issues down the road in terms of not only lower demand, but also they're saying, hey, the economic forecast out there looks a little bleak, so we're going to tighten our belt now. Well, if the big tech companies are doing this, guess what? That means it's important that we pay attention because, again, remember, guys, they're in the business of predicting what's going to happen, of being flexible, creating new ways to do things. So if these companies are noticing this, we need to be taking heed of what's going on out there, because if they see gloom in the future and on the horizon, it's probably gloom in the future and on the horizon for other types of jobs that are out there. So we need to be paying close attention. So listen, guys, on this quick video, I just want to give you a rundown of what's happening with big tech companies and job losses. They're doing lots of layoffs. Pay attention. This is going to trickle down and affect other areas of the job market at some point. So, hey, guys, I hope you're able to get something out of this quick video and understand the connection between job layoffs in the tech industry and the Federal Reserve constantly raising these interest rates, and how that may affect us down the road who may not be in the tech industry. If you got anything at all out of this quick video, smash the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, and do me a favor, check out some other videos that are talking about what's going on in the economy right now. Remember, the best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Do me a favor, take care of yourself, but also take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.